Have you ever, opened up a blank document or a canvas and just felt that jolt of dread? It's
Mm-hmm.
physical. Your heart starts racing, you feel your palms get a little sweaty, and you realize you have to come up with something brilliant right now.
Oh, absolutely. And that feeling, it doesn't just stop when the work is done, does it?
No.
You've just published something maybe 5 minutes ago, and you're already just refreshing the page over and over.
Watching that play count that's just stuck on like
Yeah.
11.
If you're lucky.
Yeah.
And you feel completely exposed.
Yeah, that feeling, that really deep discomfort is what we're calling creation anxiety.
Yeah.
It's the thing that makes you tweak an opening line for an hour
Yeah.
or, just actively avoid the work altogether.
And then you see someone else's success, something goes viral, and suddenly you're questioning your own value, like fundamentally.
Right.
For so long, we've been told that anxiety is a bug, a failure in the system that you have to suppress or avoid or just, prepare your way out of.
The idea being if you were just good enough, it would go away.
Exactly. But the thinking we're looking at today, it flips that completely on its head. It says anxiety isn't a fault. It's actually a signal.
The signal.
It's proof that you care deeply. You only feel this for the things that really, truly matter to you.
So the problem isn't the anxiety itself.
Yeah.
It's how we react to it.
Oh.
So our mission for this deep dive is to walk through this really powerful 4-step method to change that relationship, to downgrade anxiety from this enemy to a partner, or even, a kind of fuel.
Okay, I love that, a partner. So let's start with step 1. If we're going to partner with anxiety, we first have to tame it.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds great. But what does taming actually look like when your heart is pounding and you just want to run away?
Well, it starts with acknowledging what our first reaction always is, which is, like you said, to run, to escape.
It's avoidance, yeah.
You scroll on your phone, you go get a glass of water, you start messing with the title.
Right, you feel like you're being productive, but all you're really doing is just kicking the can down the road,
Right.
delaying that confrontation with the blank page.
And the worst part is it doesn't even work. The anxiety doesn't go away. It's just sort of running in the background,
Yeah.
eating up your mental energy.
It is, because when you delay, the anxiety turns from a specific fear, like, I'm not sure how to write this chapter, into this shapeless black fog of panic.
So taming is about giving it a shape.
Precisely. And the exercise for it is so simple, it almost feels wrong. You just stop for 3 minutes. Stop everything.
Wait, just sit there. That feels like the opposite of what I'd want to do.
And that's exactly the point. You're interrupting that flight or fight response. And after those 3 minutes, you do the most important thing. You give it a name.
Yeah.
You take out a sticky note or open a memo on your phone. And you write down the most brutal, honest truth in your head.
So what am I most afraid of right now? No sugarcoating it?
None. You write, I'm terrified this story's going to sound childish, or I'm afraid this project will be a total financial failure, or even, yes, I'm afraid the views will still be 11.
Wow. And just writing it down?
Yeah.
That changes something.
It transforms everything because it's not a fog anymore. Suddenly, it's a character, something you can see and talk to.
And you get the steering wheel back.
That's it. You can't fight a fog, but you can definitely have a conversation with a character. That's the first step.
Okay, so we've named it. Now we have this character. The next step is sharing. So we have to let it speak.
Right. You have to get the fear out of your head and into the air.
Because silence just makes it grow.
It's the perfect breeding ground. That little worry snowballs from I'm a bit stuck into I must be a complete and utter failure. It needs an outlet.
But, okay, let's be real here. Sharing this stuff is hard. A lot of creators, we don't want to tell our friends or family just how scared we are. You worry you'll be judged, or they won't get it, or they'll think you're just being delicate.
And that's a huge concern, and it leads to a really kind of unconventional solution that the research points to, using AI.
Talking to an AI. Okay, I have to admit, that feels a little strange. Like you're replacing a human connection with a bot.
And that's the gut reaction. But the purpose here is very specific. It's not about getting advice or validation from the AI.
So what is it for?
It's about having a space with zero judgment. The AI won't interrupt you. It won't give you unhelpful advice. Like, just cheer up. It's like a digital tree hollow, a totally safe place to just speak the fear.
So the goal isn't for the AI to fix it. It's for you to hear yourself say it.
Exactly. You just send a message, I'm stuck on chapter 2, or this video feels way too gloomy and no one will like it.
And once it's out there, even just to a machine.
Its power shrinks instantly. It's not this toxic secret anymore. It becomes a dual script. You acknowledged it, it's in the room with you, but it's not running the show.
Okay, That makes sense. We've tamed it, we've shared it. Now we get to step 3, acceptance. And this is where we actually invite it to co-create with us.
Yeah, this is the big shift. It's not surrender, it's integration.
Integration.
You start to see the anxiety not as noise, but as a signal. It's the work itself, as one source put it, kicking the door to be born. That tension means the engine is hot.
I love that framing.
Mm-hmm.
So when that feeling spikes, how do you actually integrate it
Yeah.
in the moment?
You just acknowledge it.
Yeah.
Gently. You can even say internally, oh, hey, you're back. Good. That means this is important. And then, and this is the key, you keep working.
While you're feeling it.
For 10 minutes, just 10 minutes. You write or draw or edit while feeling that tension. You're teaching your brain that this feeling isn't a stop sign.
So how do you practically turn that fear into fuel?
You use it directly. You look at the fear and ask, how can this make the work better? So let's say your fear is, I'm afraid this dialogue is going to sound clunky.
Okay.
You take that tension and give it to a character. Now you have a character who is also struggling to communicate. That's instant, relatable drama.
Or if your fear is, no one is going to watch this video because the start is boring.
Yeah. You use that frantic energy to craft an absolutely killer 3-second opening hook. Something you never would have come up with if you were feeling calm and relaxed.
So you're literally harnessing the energy of the fear and channeling it into the work.
Exactly. After 10 minutes, you look up and realize the anxiety didn't block you. It actually pushed you. The partnership is complete.
But so many of us stop there, right? We get through the creation, but then we get trapped by the next part.
The results. Which brings us to the final and maybe most difficult step, letting go.
Step 4.
Yeah.
Because the worst anxiety for me is often right after I hit publish. You become what the sources call a slave to the results.
You're checking the data, the comments, and your self-worth is on this crazy roller coaster based on what other people think.
It's exhausting.
And the simple, brutal truth is this. The moment you hit publish, your control is gone. It's over. Your job is done.
There's a great analogy for this about flying a kite.
Yeah, I love this one. Your job is to build the best kite you possibly can. You make sure the design is sound, the string is strong, and you launch it with care.
But once it's in the air,
You can't control the wind. You can't. And trying to is it's irrational. It's a waste of energy.
so there's a mental discipline to this, a
Yeah.
mantra to adopt right before you hit publish.
Right. You say to yourself, I am responsible for creation. The world is responsible for the echo.
I love that. The world is responsible for the echo.
And then the action that has to follow is crucial. You publish and you immediately close the tab. You go for a walk, you cook a meal, you do anything else.
You let the kite fly on its own.
Freedom isn't about controlling the outcome. It's about letting go of that need to control and just allowing it to grow on its own. And you move on to the next creation.
This has been incredibly helpful. A really practical way to reframe something we all deal with. So for everyone listening, if you want to put this into practice today, right now, we have 3 small challenges for you.
3 immediate actions to kind of officially make anxiety part of your team.
First, write one truth. Open a memo and just write down, what am I most afraid of right now? Get specific. Naming it is the first step to taming it.
Second, send a message. Open a chat with an AI and just type, I'm feeling really panicked about this, or I feel like a total imposter. Send it. Don't edit it. Don't delete it. Just the act of voicing it is the whole point.
And number 3, this one's tough. Publish an imperfect work. Not a polished final product. Release something you're still a little worried about. A first draft of a paragraph, a rough sketch, a 30-second audio clip. Let the world see your progress, not just your perfection.
If you can do those 3 things, even just one of them, you've started to shift the entire relationship. Because the real win, it isn't when the anxiety disappears. Because, let's be honest, it might not.
Right.
The true victory is when you can keep creating, keep shipping the work while carrying that uncertainty with you. That is real creative mastery.